Hello again. It is Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit, talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week, and we are so glad that you have joined us. Steve Post here in our Concord, North Carolina studios from the Lethal Chassis Studios up in Pennsylvania. It's Ashley Stremme. Hello, Ashley. How are you?
I'm doing great, Steve. We've been doing some big paying mod racing here in Pennsylvania. Last weekend at Bedford, this weekend at Hidden Valley. But in just a few short weeks, I'm going to be in Charlotte again, Steve.
Yeah, World Finals is a great event, but it signifies the end of the year. And man, I'll tell you what, we are getting down to it. That is for sure. My weekend was really cool. I did the late model stock, the NASCAR late model stock race, the Valley Star Credit Union 300 at Martinsville. A guy named Peyton Sellers. He's been trying to win that. He wins everything all the time. Couldn't win that race Saturday night. He cashed in and won it. And then Sunday, I did something totally different. Went out and caught up my buddy Cruz Pedregon, and the drag racers were here in Charlotte. So you're modified racing. I'm, drag racing and late model stock racing. So good times, that's for sure.
Hey, as long as we're at the racetrack, that's all that matters, right? Life is good.
You're absolutely right about that. And speaking of the racetrack, let's take a lap around the racetrack. We're going to start in turn number 1. Brad Sweet is rolling, Ashley. This thing is, I know everyone wants a playoff and a championship battle that comes right down to the end. The Big Cat seems to be fending everything off, and it continued on with a dominant win Saturday night at Sharon.
Yeah, it's been crazy, Steve, because when you talk to him, up until probably the last 3 or 4 weeks, he was frustrated with where they were at, not winning races, not being consistent. So it's finally good to see that Stella got her groove back, if you will. His 5th win of the season, his 79th win of the year, 3-time consecutive World of Outlaw champion, and looking to make it a 4th.
The numbers are staggering. Since they left Port Royal in July, Ashley, 22 races, 4 wins, and there's been a couple of big ones in there. 17 of 22 top 5 finishes, 21 top 10 finishes. 1 finish was not a top 10 since July, and that was an 11th. So the Big Cat is rolling, and what I thought was cool is his team, they left Sharon Speedway on Saturday night. They drove all night long, wanted to come to the Carolina Nationals, and their Napa teammate, Ron Capps, grabbed a Wally. And so I saw some of the crew guys. They posted a picture on social media. The crew guys, after celebrating at Sharon on Saturday night, they were celebrating in Charlotte. Neat stuff. And you and I've talked about this. I love when the various teams across different disciplines get together.
It's true. It shows the support system that they have. Just because they share a sponsor doesn't mean they don't follow along with each other.
Really is neat for sure. Turn number 1, Brad Sweet. Turn number 2, another guy we've talked about a lot this year, Anthony Macri. Now he won his 3rd straight Jim Nace Memorial Selinsgrove National Open this past weekend. He's only the 4th driver to do that. Maynard Yinks did it back in the 80s. Fred Raymer did it in the 90s. And Pat Cannon did it in 2011 to 2013. Macri keeps rolling, $26,000 more in the bank too, Ashley. He is chalking him up big time.
Yes, it's his 21st win of this season. September, Pennsylvania Month of Money. We talk about it all the time. 9 races. He won 3, the Tuscarora 50, Selinsgrove National Open, the Tuscarora 50 prelim night, and 6 were top 5s and 9 were top 10s, Steve. Anthony has been on a roll this season, even with the ups and downs. Crew chief changed the whole 9 yards. But what I really want to say is it's cool to see him support the Jim Nace Memorial race. If you didn't know Jim, Steve, awesome guy, great racer, just a really great family.
Nice stuff, that is for sure. The 26 was one of Jim's more popular numbers that he had over his career, and that's the $26,000. When I think of Macri's month of September, remember the Dirt Classic, the other big paying race? He was leading on the last lap when Brent Marks got by. So, man, I'll tell you what, between Marks and Macri, what a year those two have had up there, that's for sure. 21 wins. He has more wins than anybody else in sprint car racing at this point and doesn't show signs of slowing down. We have a great guest coming up on the program, Chris Windom. He's known as Big Daddy. So much USAC success. Made the decision during the offseason. Well, he made the decision, I think, before the offseason to go wing sprint car racing. And we're going to talk to Big Daddy when we come up and see how that wing sprint car journey is going. Sage Fruit is a premium grower, packer, and shipper of Washington tree fruit. Apples, pears, and cherries, and it's always an exceptional eating experience, and they're grown in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. Not only is their produce healthy, but they are grown with such care and precision that you can count on each piece of fruit having exceptional flavor. High-quality fruit, exceptional flavor, healthy snacking. Make sure when you go to your local grocery store, ask for Sage Fruit. Sage Fruit, it's our first choice for quick and easy snacking. Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. Let's go to the Hercules Tire Hotline. Joining us, fresh off from a trip to Victory Lane at Eldora in a midget car, Chris Windom joins us. Hello, Chris. How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing well. Chris, you have been in the middle of quite a career change, quite an experiment, and we'll talk a lot about that for sure. But you're a race car driver that's used to winning races. What was it like to get back to Victory Lane on Saturday night? That had to make you feel really, really good.
Yeah, definitely. Not only to get back in Victory Lane, but do it at Eldora. That's one of my favorite places to be at. So it was pretty special to win again there and win the 4 Crown with the midget. And like you said, it's been a challenging year. Not winning races consistently like we're kind of used to. So it was fun. I'm still focused on the wing deal though, for sure.
I know this wing deal has been new to you. What have been your strengths and weaknesses in navigating this season in a wing car?
I mean, the biggest challenges has really been not only me as a new driver in the wing series, but the team being a new wing team to start this year off. It was all new equipment to us. All the guys working on my team, it was really their first year as they're in their roles on a wing team, and then obviously my first year driving. So just there's not really one thing to pinpoint. It's just kind of everything combined together, and was definitely challenging to start, and it's still definitely challenging, but I feel like we've kind of gotten into a little bit better of a groove and started clicking off a lot of top 10s and top 5s and making dashes, and that's been rewarding throughout the season with the steady improvement.
How good are you with the patience to keep moving forward on this plan? I know the plan is to keep moving forward, but how tough is it, or how good are you with the patience of this whole process?
I think it varies night to night. Some nights I'm really good and patient about it. Some nights I get pretty ticked off. So, I feel like, as a team, I have a pretty good group of guys that stay calm, and everyone's, still tries to keep the morale up and the confidence up. Everyone kind of knew going in that the task was going to be very challenging as our first season. So it's been nice to have everybody, all the way from the owner to the crew guys to the crew chief being, on the same page and still, being upbeat every day going to the racetrack, even if we just got our butts kicked for 3 straight nights.
Chris, you talk about the Hayward Motorsports team being new equipment, everything being new to all of you. Is there anyone that you guys lean on? Is there a specific team or a specific driver that you guys lean on to learn things, since everything is new to you guys?
We've had a plethora of people. I feel like, everyone's helped us throughout the year, whether it's different teams or ask drivers. Lee Stauffer has helped us quite a bit. He was a crew chief, for a long time and won the World of Outlaws. And when we go to Pennsylvania, he comes and helps us. And so he's definitely been a big help to me, and Austin, the current crew chief on Hayward Motorsports. So I would say he's definitely been one of the bigger helps, but it's, everyone's been super helpful and, trying to help us get better.
Lethal Lee Stauffer, boy, he just keeps coming around and around and around and making cars go fast. Man, that's a legend. That really is. And love that guy to death. Always love when I get a chance to catch up with him. Chris, one of the things that we chatted just a little bit about before we came on the air was the level of competition, how tough it is with the All-Stars. Then you roll into Pennsylvania, then you're with the World of Outlaws. Can you just kind of describe the degree of difficulty the wing sprint car world, 410 world is right now?
It's definitely the toughest series, or whatever you want to call it, the toughest group of guys I've ever raced against. I felt like in the non-wing side of things, the level we were at, if we kind of had an off night or not a good night, we still were salvaging the top 10 or close to it. And I feel like if you're off in the wing car just a few tenths or just a little bit, you're in jeopardy of not making the race. So especially when you show up to Pennsylvania and you got all the all-star guys and then plus 15 guys out there that are good too. So it's definitely been an eye opener for how challenging and how good the competition is, really, no matter where you go. And it doesn't really matter where you're racing at, whether it's with the Outlaws, the All-Stars, Pennsylvania, it's tough everywhere.
Chris, with that being said, this past weekend at Eldora, pulling double duty, going from the wingless car to the wing car, is there differences that you have to kind of change when you put that helmet on, when you strap into either car, especially at Eldora? And what's it like pulling double duty in two extremely fast race cars?
Yeah, it's definitely challenging. I actually was surprised at how challenging it was for me to get back in the midget car. The first, practice set out, it felt really weird. I'd done it for so many years, but all I've really done all season is the wing car. So jumping back in a car without a wing on it honestly felt strange to me. We obviously got a handle on it by the second night, but that was tough jumping back and forth for the first day. And that's kind of why I've been focusing on just the wing side of things this year, just because you develop a lot of bad habits. I feel like jumping back in the non-wing car, because they just, there's so much different to drive. And it was, like I said, it was strange to me how hard it was to get back used to being in the wingless car there.
Chris, when we look at your career, so much success in USAC. You're one of the handful, I believe, 7 drivers that have won the Triple Crown, the Silver Crown champion back in 2016, 2017, the Sprint Car champion, 2020, the USAC Midget champion. But over the last few years, we've seen you dabble a little in trucks, in NASCAR. We've seen you in ARCA. Is jumping away from the non-wing thing something you've kind of had in the back of your mind over the last few years and have had to kind of put the pieces together to get to this point?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously it takes a bigger budget when you want to jump up and run with the top wing series. So it's something I've wanted to do for the last couple of years, like you said. And, I kind of felt like I did everything I wanted to do in USAC. We won the Triple Crown. I've won a ton of races that I wanted to win over my career. And, the wing series was kind of the next step I was looking forward to. And, I'm not getting any younger, so I needed to do it sooner than later. So, with obviously having a great partner with Nos Energy Drink, that was a key deal into helping us progress into this transition, and having an owner like Brody Hayward and Hayward Motorsports, who he's obviously always been a non-wing guy, and he stepped up and was willing to make the transition into buying some wing cars for me for this year. And that's obviously, you have to have a good owner behind you, not only along with a sponsor. So those two combined, and having the right group of people around you has been everything for me.
Speaking of Nos Energy Drink, obviously very involved in the sport of sprint car racing and many other disciplines of dirt racing in general. But I've got to admit, watching these different challenges that they do with you guys every single year, it's truly enjoying to watch. Okay, but I need to know about the one for this year, the Nos Endurance Challenge, between the bug, the limo, the bus. What's it like when you guys go to shoots and do these Nos events for the fans to be able to watch and partake in some of the stuff that you guys do together?
Yeah, it's awesome. They come up with such cool stuff every year, and they bring in a whole crew to do it. It's a very professional deal actually put on, even though it looks like we're just being goofy and fun, but it still is a lot of fun. But this one this year was different. We did it at the Speedrome in Indianapolis, and we actually were the first. I think they broke us off into groups of 3 or 4, and we were the first team to pick, and we chose the bus, which was the worst pick at the end of the day. It was the slowest one, but we had to, everybody had to be strapped in, and all 4 guys had to make, I think it was 5 laps each. So we thought all the room in the bus would be the fastest way to get unstrapped and get strapped back in to drive. But those guys were quick in the bug and the limo. So the bus was the wrong pick. So we got last.
Off the racetrack, we snooped around. Well, your girlfriend, Georgia, worked a couple races with us with MRN. We had a ball with her. I didn't snoop that far. She has told me that you are into fishing. So, what is your favorite place to go fish, and is there a dream spot for you to go fish?
Yeah, I mean, I love all types of fishing. My family lives on a lake house in Nashville, so I go down there to do bass fishing or striper, crappie fishing for the freshwater stuff. But I really enjoy going deep sea fishing. So probably my dream spot would be to go to Costa Rica and go marlin fishing for a really big marlin. But we're actually going to Cabo in December to go marlin fishing, so I'm looking really forward to that. And that's really what probably my main thing I enjoy doing outside of racing.
Well, I'm going to assume a fellow pit bull owner here. I'm assuming that's how your dog Tuna got its name.
Actually, it wasn't from us. That was his name at the shelter when we adopted him, and we just kept it. So it's funny how that worked out. But yeah.
What's does Tuna travel with you frequently? Is Tuna a stay at home dog?
He's more of a stay-at-home dog, but he does go with us. He's not good in the car, so he's not the most fun dog to travel with. But we definitely take him a lot of places, and he'll probably go to Fremont with us in a couple weeks. But he makes a lot of trips to Nashville, and my family, when we go on the long trips to Pennsylvania, he goes down and hangs out with my dad and mom and sister and nephews. So he's definitely been a big travel dog.
Okay, so speaking of nephews, I heard you're a pretty good uncle. You've got 2 of them?
I've got 2 of them. They're the one's turning 4 this in October, and August is 6.
So what are you into with them? What do you do with those kids?
Just hang out. They're I don't get to see them that often, obviously, all summer. So I enjoy getting to go down there and spend time with them. And August he's getting to the point, I think, where he's ready to start going fishing with me on the boat. So that'll be fun to start, doing that with him, and just seeing him grow up. It's cool. Ocean is the other one. He's turning 4 in October, so he's a lot of fun. And August is big into hockey, and I'm a big hockey fan, so it makes me happy he's starting to play hockey.
Do they have any interest in racing since Uncle Chris races?
They watch every race with my sister and brother-in-law, so yeah, they're big into it. I don't foresee my sister letting them get in a race car, but we'll see.
We'll see, that's for sure. How did you get started in it? Was your family have a big racing background, Chris?
Actually, my dad was a flat track motorcycle racer, and I always rode dirt bikes and stuff when I was a kid, and that's what I wanted to do, but he would not let me race motorcycles. So he made me get in a go-kart, and I started in that when I was 7, and we ended up, I think by the time I was 9 or 10, we were traveling basically as much as we travel now, racing go-karts all around the country. So moved in from go-karts to micro sprints, and then jumped in a non-wing sprint car when I was 15.
Neat stuff, that's for sure. Before we cut you loose, I know the Jim and Joanne Ford Classic is coming up for the All-Stars. That wraps up the All-Star season. Do you have other races? What's the balance of the year look like?
Yeah, we'll obviously finish there at Fremont, and then hopefully run, I haven't seen the whole October schedule yet, but hopefully run a few more races in October, and then try to hit World Finals in November. So, I'm used to racing the non-wing side of stuff all the way through the Turkey night in November. So it's going to be kind of weird being off in October. So I'll probably go to California and run a few midget races out there at Placerville. So I'll still be somewhat busy the rest of the couple months.
Neat stuff, that's for sure, Chris. And it has been fun to watch you in your transition to wing sprint cars and watch you guys climb the ladder. Been really, really neat, that's for sure. We appreciate you joining us here on Wing Nation.
Thank you guys for having me. It's fun talking to you.
There we go. Big Daddy Chris Windom joining us on the Hercules Tire Hotline. Stay with us, more in just a moment.
Power isn't born, it's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers, whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain, and we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. Ashley Stremme and Steve Post. And Ashley, the move of so many drivers from USAC to wing sprint cars, I think Sunshine made it look easy. And I think we're learning from Chris Windom and then some of the other drivers that have actually gone back to non-wing racing. I think it's a big challenge. I think Chris is doing really, really well with it. And I look forward to seeing where he goes. But it's fascinating to get his perspective on it, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And to hear him say, climbing back into the USAC car, he realizes there's bad habits that he built. And that really speaks miles for what it takes to be able to wheel a winged sprint car.
Yeah, it really does. I go back to Tony Stewart talking about it when he was trying to crack into that and how he talked about it. And face it, Tony Stewart has done and won everything in the world. And he talked about a wing sprint car being the most difficult, biggest challenging car to do. And when you see a world-class racer like Big Daddy, like Chris, and you see it, it's like, okay, that makes sense. And theirs is compounded because the team is doing it as well. But I love what they're doing. I love their perseverance, and they are getting better in places. And he said dashes and some heat races and leading some laps. I think this is going to be a team that's going to be fun to watch over the next few years.
Absolutely. To have the success that they're having being all completely new to it is impressive in its own right.
Really, truly is. All right. Before we talk to Chris Windom, we were taking a lap around the sprint car world. Let's continue with that lap. We will go now to turn number 3, the IRA bumper-to-bumper sprints. I love this group of racers because these are your Saturday night racers. I don't believe there's a professional race car driver among them as far as that's his sole living. I think they all work real 9-to-5 jobs. I think they all work in the shops at night. And I think they drag the race cars all over Wisconsin to get out for the next race. And they have a new champion this year. Jordan Goldsberry won the championship. And he is just a really, really neat guy. Did the IRA and then snuck down to Knoxville a few times. He had 2 wins with IRA, Wilmot and 141 Raceway, and picked up some other things along the way. But Ashley, this is exactly what you love to see about a series like that.
It's so true. And especially a team like his, right? It's a family team. It's him and his dad. They make this happen that they can go racing and enjoy each other, enjoy time at the racetrack. They're from Springfield, Illinois, and his dad has been driving for 15 years. It's a second year running for points, and it's just awesome to finally see that he's on top in just a short time frame with him and his father making this happen.
Really, truly is cool. He did a little video piece with Wade Onger, our buddy Wade Onger, and Wade said, "How long do you plan on doing it?" And he said, "As long as my dad's doing it with me. That's how long I plan on doing it." And I just think that is so cool. So tip of the cap to Jordan Goldsberry, the 2022 IRA bumper-to-bumper champ, new champion up there. We talked about this a couple years ago when Bill Balog made the move. We would see new names at the front, and boy, we're seeing it, and that is fantastic. Ashley, you mentioned at the top of the show, coming to Charlotte soon. The calendar is flipping over to October. It's depressing, other than I love the cool weather. I do need a little bit of a break at times. We are getting down to it. But when we look to October, World of Outlaws are still up in your neck of the woods there, Ashley. They're not leaving even after the National Open this week.
Absolutely not. Next weekend is the Nittany Showdown at Port Royal. I'm going to be excited for it. It's fall. It's pumpkin. It's my birthday month. Yes, I said month. And World of Outlaws are in town. Obviously, they go to I-80 in Nebraska, Lakeside in Kansas, October 14th and 15th. And then the All-Star Circuit of Champions, their season finale is next weekend, Steve.
Next weekend, the Jim and Joanne Ford Classic, $10,000 to win at Fremont. We talked to Chris, said he was going to that. King of the West has some races going on. MOA has some races. Lernerville still has their Steel City Stampede. Lincoln has a Tuesday night race coming up in a few weeks. Can't wait to see that, the Brian Monteith Classic. And this one here, I didn't even pay attention to it. Ends the season, $15,000 to win at Bridgeport on the 30th. But Ashley, all dirt roads leading to Charlotte at this point, and we're in the final month, the birthday month for you.
Yes, unfortunately, it's hard to believe that the season is almost over. I feel like it just started, but yes, it is a month of celebrating.
A month of celebrating for sure. We really appreciate Chris Windom joining us here on the program. But more important than all of that, thank you for joining us here on Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit.